All right, I wanted to play this again, but Joel Klatt was on his weekly podcast talking about what his biggest takeaways from the College Football Playoff Committee rankings. We had ours yesterday. Here's Klatt, and it's got an ATX bent to it. He thinks Texas being inside the top 12 is as big of development as we've seen.
The biggest takeaway from these rankings is Texas at 11. Texas as a 9-3, as the committee is telling us, is absolutely alive for the playoff. When I see where they're sitting, I absolutely get it. Number one, their loss was the opening week of the season, one of their losses, to Ohio State on the road, which is right now the number one team in the country as the committee views it. And here's something that you have to understand is that behind closed doors, the strong push is to make sure that we're valuing teams that schedule difficult non-conference games. Well, Texas scheduling the Ohio State game, the committee is not going to want to knock them for that. They're not going to want to put them down for losing that game on the road the opening week of the season with a brand new quarterback. Some people agree with that, some don't, okay? Now, that's fine. I agree with that. We need to get to a place in college football where we encourage games like that in the non-conference. And guess what? Texas has so much ammunition left on their schedule that them being at 11 right now, they're still in a good position whether they win out or not. Now, they can't go 8-4, obviously. But they still have two monster games in the SEC right now left on their schedule in their last three. They've got to go to Georgia November 15th. Right. Then they're going to
Joel Klatt. So we know the schedule for Texas, Georgia in a week from Saturday, home to Arkansas, which you can't sleep on the Razorbacks, and look ahead to 6 days later when you play the Texas A&M Aggies. Aggies have a big game. So Joel Klatt's biggest takeaway, Texas. And I think on top of that, the strength of the SEC was rewarded because 6 of the top 12, 4 straight one-loss SEC teams ahead of undefeated BYU and way ahead of one-loss Oregon. Clear that they are recognizing what we're saying, that this isn't like regional bias. They're watching the games, watching the tape from all over the country, and they see the strength of the SEC versus the other conference. Obviously, the ACC way down. Their highest-ranked team is 14th in Virginia. They're a one-bid league. And Texas Tech in the Big 12 with BYU, they're going to
it'll sort itself out.
If those two teams keep winning, no matter who wins, well, Texas Tech can't lose on Saturday. That's a 10.5-point favorite at home. They have to win that game.
Cincinnati remains alive. If Texas Tech wants any life,
Cincinnati just got walloped by Utah.
Yeah, but that was their only Big 12 loss, is what I'm saying. You could go down that road.
Yes, they'd have to win.
Cincinnati
would have to win the Big 12.
100%. I'm just saying for Texas Tech's sake, you need to win to keep going.
Sure, Texas Tech can't take 2 losses. Right. There's no doubt.
That's my point.
Because if you lose that, you lose control of trying to get to the Big 12 championship game. Because there's a chance that if Texas Tech beats BYU in this game, then they're both one-loss teams the rest of the way. Then they meet again. Well, then that'll be for the tournament. But then the losers 2-loss, and this is what we had in the ACC last year with SMU and Clemson. I don't think this year. They're not guaranteed 2 spots in the Big 12.
No, definitely not the ACC too. We know that ACC is a one-bid league and will be. Just plain and simple.
I don't see much that can change that at this point. All right, but also the Longhorn criticism. They're Joel Klatt saying the biggest takeaway is Texas, where they're sitting. Our man Brian Jones, BJ, started his radio career working alongside yours truly and Bucky and all the folks over at the Zone. Now he's a star on CBS Sports, and he was unhappy. For his takeaway was Texas is behind Notre Dame. Why the hell is Texas behind Notre Dame? With 2 losses. Here's BJ on CBS Sports this week.
Alma mater, Texas, sitting there at the 11th hole. They defeated 2 top 10 teams. Notre Dame, ahead of them, has defeated none of that. They defeated a 20th ranked USC team at home. They, of course, lost to Texas A&M. And Miami, so I'm struggling to understand that situation there.
All right, so Brian Jones. I think I would say to Brian, probably eyeball test, that if they're both 2-loss teams, yes, Texas has a better resume, but Texas has the worst loss at Florida. Texas, Notre Dame lost at Miami, and last play lost to the Aggies. A missed extra point really cost them
4 points in total in both those
and
games.
They've looked more dominant. I mean, Texas survived Kentucky. It's a great win. Because that's why I say, when you get into the beauty contest, and it's about the Russian judge and the Italian judge and the committee, you got to look pretty. And you can't have a big wart on your nose or zit on your nose. And right now the Longhorns Kentucky game was really gross. Mississippi State, you're down 17. They won it, so you're still in the mix. But when it comes down to a beauty contest between 2-loss teams, I can see the committee siding with the improving Notre Dame team. But good thing for Texas, they're improving too.
Right. And they got opportunity like that obviously Notre Dame doesn't have. Notre Dame's best team remaining on their schedule is at Pitt, who's 24 right now, where if Texas gets a win at a top 5 spot or against a top 5 team, which they have 2 on their schedule, that's going to be able to cover that zip.
But if they do take a loss, now you're back to the the evaluation. It's going to come down to eyeball test, and you better look really good in that loss.
Well, and if they use this new record strength model, which they're doing for Notre Dame, if one of those games is at least close, and you win the other, that could mean something, right? Let's say they lose by 3 in Athens, but they beat Texas A&M, who hasn't lost to that point, or vice versa. It doesn't matter. That's where
that's why I say
keep it close at least.
3 wins going in guarantees a spot and puts you in the SEC title game. Most
you
likely.
win out, you're 100% in.
You take a loss, it better look good.
Yes.
It better look good.
Keep it close.
And then you could still get your way in as a 3-loss team as the last SEC team, and that's still a possibility. But look, as I've said, I think Texas has the ability to win all 3. And I'll say again, the thing I went back and watched the game again, first 3 quarters. I didn't watch the fourth quarter because I know how that went. But first 3 quarters, and I said this to Jack in the audience last hour, biggest takeaway is just how dominant they controlled the line of scrimmage against a team that typically wins the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what Vanderbilt does. They rushed the ball. They were over 200 yards rushing coming into that game. They were rock solid on defense. Texas completely dominated them when it was 34-10. They sacked Diego Pavia 6 times. He'd only been sacked 7 times all season. They dominated their run game. And that was a Texas team that was coming in tired. I mean, they were coming off of an Oklahoma game and then 2 90-snap performances on the road in SEC play, and they were completely dominant. But 2 things come from that game upon rewatch. Big picture for me. Why they can win the next 3. The lines of scrimmage improvement. The fact that now in pass when they win and defeat you on first and second down when they go to pass rush situations, now they're using Anthony Hill as a pass rusher.
Right.
And they've moved. They trust Anthony Smith now and Leonga Lafau to man the linebacker spots traditionally, and they just weaponize Anthony Hill. And if you're bringing Anthony Hill, Colin Simmons, along with Ethan Burke, along with the rest, Trey Moore, you're not blocking those guys.
Good luck, right? Yeah.
And that was what Vanderbilt couldn't handle it.
Getting bombarded.
You maybe can give some help for Colin Simmons, but now you're bringing Anthony Hill.
Right.
And now you're bringing Ethan Burke.
He's like a missile flying in there.
It is a problem. And you know what it reminds you of? As I give you the stat that Texas leads the nation in sacks. Remember the stat coming out of the Florida game that they hadn't sacked a Power 4 quarterback in their matchups? Well, now they lead the nation in it. So it means the pass rush has come on like a house of fire as the defense has improved. You know who doesn't sack the quarterback? Georgia.
But used to?
I know.
Right, they're taking over that spot.
Texas has a defense that what I saw against Vanderbilt, against Oklahoma, Kentucky, they're playing like one of those early 2020 Georgia defenses. And if they get Michael Taff, Angelani, and McDonald back in the secondary, they're going to be fine. The other part, big takeaway, is what do we say all year about the Texas offense? A lot of things. A lot of cussing, throwing things at televisions. They had no identity on offense.
None.
Well, guess what? At the right time, they're figuring out what their identity is. They're getting guys healthy. So they figured out what offensive line mix is going to work. Moving Cole Hudson to guard next to Connor Robertson, next to DJ Campbell. The tackles are set.
Best 5 out there.
Yeah, and you're defining. And Jerry Hamilton said this yesterday. I think it bears repeating. You know that Trey Wisner's your bell cow running back, and C.J. Baxter's coming as his capable second guy. But the receiver position is defining roles. And the way Jerry said it yesterday, I thought was so on point. Ryan Wingo is not a great route runner right now, and he doesn't catch the ball consistently, but he's an explosive weapon. So he's a catch-and-run player.
Get the ball in his hands.
So as you've seen on the first play of the last 2 games, get the ball in space, speed, at full speed, and let him go.
Let the 5-star do his thing.
But he and Arch were miscommunicating throughout the year because I think he was running kind of lazy routes at times, and he's not where he's supposed to be, and Arch is missing him. Well, that's now Emmett Mosley. Emmett Mosley is the best route runner on the team.
Yep.
And Emmett Mosley runs pro routes and makes pro catches. So now you have that guy, and you didn't have him for the first month plus. Now he's getting established as your go-to, going to be in the right place, run a great route on a 3rd down. And then you still have DeAndre Moore as that 3rd weapon with Jack Endries at tight end. So point being, what I saw against Vanderbilt, dominant lines of scrimmage with the right offensive line mix, and now the identity of the offense is starting to come together right at the right time. They can win all these games.
Yeah, and those receivers, like you're saying, they just have defined their roles, and I think everybody has a specific spot. You
couldn't have done that when Emmett Mosley wasn't playing.
Right.
You were trying to make Ryan
Wingo
that guy, and he's not
He's
yet.
just not.
Hopefully he learns, but this is why you went and got Emmett Mosley in the portal, to be that polished, NFL future receiver, which Ryan Wingo is going to be too. But as Jerry said, he's right now a catch and run, uses athleticism.
Still raw, yeah.
Emmett Mosley's that guy, like Matt Golden or somebody last year that's going to run the right. Because we saw this last year with Quinn. As the year went on, you could tell exactly who Quinn trusted the most by who he went to on big third downs and in red zone.
Matthew Golden.
And it became Matthew Golden.
Yep.
When the year began, you thought it was going to be Isaiah Bond or somebody else. It became Matthew Golden, and it became Gunnar Helm. And and Trey Wisner. That became the identity of the team, and it had to be defined as the year went on. We're seeing it now for Texas. You've got 2 good running backs that are healthy that weren't most of the year, and your receiver position has defined itself. And obviously the key is the offensive line. Because they figured out getting Cole Hudson back healthy after he missed 2 games has really reestablished that they can be because they don't have to be great on the offensive line. They've got to be steady. And they certainly were more than that against Vanderbilt. All right, and Georgia again, 127th in sacks, 133rd in tackles for loss. This isn't that Georgia team that just dominates you at the line of scrimmage. That's Texas now on the defensive side. They wreak havoc with their defense, and their offense is getting better at the right time.